Hey boys, I know this is the day of your exams, so I definitely don't want to be wasting any time of yours. I know the time is very precious at this point of time because you're in the middle of your preparations, but I just want 10 minutes of your time. This is for all of my May 2025 students who are writing exams. I've been receiving a lot of comments yesterday that they are planning to skip theory questions for your exam because it's a little lengthy and a little too much for you to take grasp of. Now, as much as I've discussed it in the previous videos, when it comes to your question number 4 of direct taxes, the first leg will be clubbing and set off, whereas the second leg will be a theory question. And so, even if you're comfortable with a 6-mark question, you need to be a little comfortable on your theory questions. So yes, I'm shooting a very short video, max to max 5 to 10 minutes, just to cover all the theory topics which you have for your exams. You need to be focusing on these 3 topics. If you have not looked at theory before this also, no problem. Just put on your earphones and quickly look at this theory little bit before your exam, so that if any of these questions come, you can quickly solve it off. Yes, let's look into these topics very quickly. The first question, which may come as theory question: what are the cases where your previous year and assessment year will become the same? There are 5 cases where your PY and AY will become the same. Case number 1: if you are going to have a ship of a non-resident which is entering into India, then you will only be permitted to leave India after you pay your taxes in India. Therefore, your PY and AY becomes the same. Second, if there is any individual which is planning to leave India with no intention of coming back. Third, if you are going to be an AOP or BOI which is formed for a particular purpose in the same year and is dissolved in the same year. Fourth, if you are going to be a person who's planning to charge, sell, transfer his assets with an intention to avoid taxes. And fifth, if your business or profession is planning to be discontinued in the previous year. What are the 5 cases? A ship of a non-resident which is coming from outside India to India. Any individual which is leaving India with no intention of coming back. If you're having any AOP, BOI or AGP which is formed in the current year and is dissolved in the same year. If you're going to have any business or profession which is discontinued in this previous year. And if you're planning to sell off any of your assets with an intention to evade taxes. 5 cases where your PY and AY will become the same. Second, what is the advance tax due dates in income tax and what are the tax liabilities which you have to pay during this due dates? Income tax says if it is an advance tax, you will be liable to pay advance tax if your tax payable, your advance tax payable goes more than 10,000 rupees. If your advance tax payable goes more than 10,000 rupees, you'll have to pay advance tax in 4 installments. Installment number 1 will be on 15th June where you'll pay 15% of your advance tax liability. Then you'll have 15th September where you'll pay 45% of your tax liability. Your 15th December where you'll pay 75% of your tax liability, and 15th March where you'll pay 100% of your tax liability. But income tax also says that if you're a person who's opting for presumptive taxation 44AD or 44ADA, then you don't have to follow these liabilities. You just have to pay 100% of your liability on 15th March. Yes, so 4 due dates for you to keep in mind: 15th June, 15th September, 15th December and 15th March. 15, 45, 75 and 100. If you're going to compute interest under 234C, the first installment will be required for a minimum 12%. Second installment will be required for minimum 36%. Next, what are the cases where advance tax payable does not have to be done based on these installments and we need to pay only on subsequent periods? There are 4 cases where your advance tax will only be paid in subsequent periods. Case number 1, if your capital gains accrues. Case number 2, if your casual income accrues, any winnings or lottery. Case number 3, if you're going to have any PGBP which is happening for the first time. And case number 4, if you're going to have any dividend income. In all these cases, income tax says you will not pay advance tax from first quarter. You will pay advance tax only from the quarter in which these incomes are accrued. Question number 3, and the most important question which generally comes in exam many times: what are the cases where you mandatory need to file your return of income? Income tax says if you are going to be a company or a firm, mandatory return filing for you. But if you're going to be any other individual who's liable for slab rate model, then you will be liable to pay, you're liable to file an income tax return only if your GTI minus any kind of exemptions which you have claimed under capital gains. So which means you'll take the GTI, you will add back all the exemptions you have claimed under capital gains, and if this number exceeds your basic exemption limit of 2,50,000 under old regime or 3 lakhs under new regime, then you will be mandatorily required to file a return of income. But if you get a second letter question where they've done some financial transactions, then also you'll be required to file your income tax return. What are the financial transactions? If you have deposited more than 1 crore in current account, if you have deposited more than 50 lakhs in savings account, if you have traveled for foreign more than 2 lakh rupees cost, if you have incurred expenses for electricity more than 1 lakh rupee, if your total sales is going to go more than 60 lakh rupees in case of business and in case of profession 10 lakh rupees, if you're going to have an aggregate TDS or TCS more than 50,000 rupees for senior citizens and more than 25,000 rupees for others. And finally, if you're going to be a person who's an ROR and you have any kind of foreign bank accounts or any kind of assets which is located outside India, in all these cases return filing will become mandatory. Yes, so two instances where return filing becomes mandatory. If you're going to be a company or a firm, mandatory return filing. Any other person will be mandatory required to file return if their GTI, ignoring any capital gains exemption, goes beyond basic exemption limit. In financial transactions, 1 crore for current account, 50 lakhs for savings account, 2 lakhs for foreign travel, 1 lakh for electricity charges, any kind of sales more than 60 lakhs in business, 10 lakhs in case of profession, TDS more than 50,000 for senior citizen, 25,000 for normal persons, any person who is an ROR having foreign bank accounts or any foreign assets. Next, income tax says what are the cases where if you file your returns late, losses cannot be carried forward. Income tax says if you are going to not file your returns on time, then you will lose losses pertaining to business, you lose losses pertaining to speculative, you lose losses pertaining to your specified business under 35AD, you lost business loss relating to capital loss, and you lost any kind of losses pertaining to owning and maintaining horse races. In simple words, all losses which are there will be fully lapsed unless and until it is a house property loss or unabsorbed depreciation loss. Any house property loss or unabsorbed depreciation loss is the only loss which you can carry forward even if your return is filed late. Any other cases, your return will not be permitting any carry forward of losses. But notice carefully that this is only for carry forward. Current year set off will still be permitted. You can set off losses in the current year, just that the loss cannot be carried forward. Then what are the issues or the consequences if you don't file your returns on time? Income tax says if you don't file your return on time, the following issues will happen. First, we discussed above, you will not be permitted to carry any specified losses except for house property and for your unabsorbed depreciation. Second, you will not be permitted for any heading C of chapter 6A, which is nothing but 80 JJAA, 80 QQB and 80 RRB. Also, you will not be permitted any section 10AA deduction, your SEZ. Third, you will be liable for an interest under section 234A at the rate of 1% per month or part thereof from the next day of filing your due date, till the date on which you file your returns. Fourth, you will be liable for a late filing fee under section 234F at the price of rupees 5,000 rupees. But if your total income is below 5 lakhs, then you will charge only 1,000 rupees. And the last and the most important thing, the person cannot opt for old tax regime or alternate tax regime. He only has to go for default tax regime unless the question specifically mentions. Theory number 4. What are the cases where you can file a revised return? You can file a revised return if you have an original return. You can file a revised return if you have a revised return. You can also file a return if you have a belated return. But the one case where you cannot file a return is when you have filed an updated return. If you filed an updated return, you cannot file a revised return for it. This brings me to the updated return provisions. Updated return provisions come and say that you can file an updated return for any instance where there is a tax payable. So what are the cases where you cannot file an updated return? If the return of income has been picked up for scrutiny. If the updated return results in a decrease in income, meaning my income is going to fall, or increase in refund, I am expecting more refund from the department. Cases you cannot file updated return. Then updated return cannot be filed if the return is already filed once. You cannot file in second updated return, which means updated return cannot be revised. Then if it comes to updated return, what are the cases where you have to pay taxes? Income tax says if you file the return within 12 months from the end of the assessment year, you will have to pay an additional 25% on your tax plus interest. But if you're filing it after 12 months but within 24 months, you have to pay 50% of the additional tax payable. This is what the provisions are when it comes to updated return of income. Yes, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9 theory questions which I just want you to quickly go through before your exams so that you are understanding things a little better. And if any of these 9 questions comes, please take it up as an opportunity and write the answers very, very carefully for this. Yes, in the last 1 minute, I just want to give you some small hints and tips, people. As you're approaching your exam today, please note that this is a tax paper. If you have experienced this in the past, you will know that when it comes to paper like taxation, there is an opportunity that things may go a little out of picture. Yes, especially with a paper like IDT. In the past experience, it very clearly says that you probably may not get questions as expected. So therefore, stop worrying first of all. You do not have to worry about what happens in the paper, people. Just because you open up the question paper and the first question or the second question does not come to your liking, it does not mean that the overall paper is bad. Here is the opportunity for you to stay calm because everyone in the surrounding is already worried. If you can take a deep breath, stay calm and decide, I will not look at these questions, but rather focus on the questions where I know the answers, you will start better. So my request, very simple people, as you get the question paper, first look at all those questions where you know you are confident. Start with those questions, answer those questions, build your confidence, complete the paper faster. As you build that confidence for yourself, you'll automatically get a sense of satisfaction that yes, you're doing great. Then go on to those questions where you're facing a bit of a challenge. Do not attempt to complete the question because you don't know the question to that extent. See what you can complete. Meaning, if it's a 15 mark total income question, also, people, you will not be the person who will say the whole 15 marks is not possible. You will at that point of time decide which of the adjustments you are completely aware and confident. You will try to answer those adjustments in order to score that additional 1, 2, maybe 5, maybe 10 marks more. Yes, every additional mark which you score for yourself is already a gift for you, and therefore you should not let go of such opportunities. So please start this paper with a positive mindset. Open up the paper, look at all those questions which you are confident upon, take those questions, complete it off. Both in DT, both in IDT. After you complete those questions, take up the balance questions where you are facing challenges, and then decide where you can score a little bit additional mark with the attempts you have, with the steps you can create, and you can score more marks. Yes, the last and the final recommendation I'll give to all of you, questions like total income questions like case study questions are always expected for the last. Please do not take them on the first go because it will take you additional effort and additional time to read through. Start with the questions where the effort will be lesser but the marks are more. Start with questions like question number 4 where you have to do clubbing set of theory questions, or question number 2 where you have to do residential status and TDS. Similarly, you will have similar topics in IDT as well. Pick up those questions as well, complete those questions, and then move to these difficult questions because these will take time. The more time you spend on these questions, the lesser marks you will be able to achieve. So please focus on that questions first. That's one small request which I wanted to make from my side. Other than that, I don't have any further recommendations. All the very best to all of you. You are going to do amazingly well in today's exam. So take away all the fear that you have for the subject. This subject is going to be that one subject which is going to grant you that exemption that you need for this group. So yes, all the very best. Rock the paper and come back and let me know how it goes. Take care, everyone. Have a very, very wonderful day. See you. Bye-bye.